Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Doing this one for a lot of people who come by my channel and leave the same type of comments that I got it twisted about Donald Trump, that we need Trump back, that Trump's going to rescue this nation. Trump is the savior. If we could just get Trump back. Again, for all those people out there that watch my channel and leave those kind of comments, this stream is just for you. And understand, I am trying to reach you because what I actually do think is the people who are the closest to helping out this nation at this moment in history, in a lot of ways, are the Trump supporters who haven't quite seen the truth all the way. But they see a lot of what's wrong with the nation. It's just they're investing their hopes and their dreams in the wrong guy, who is the giant mousetrap that's meant to catch them and keep them from reaching the reality they want. And that is for this nation to improve and get off the path it is on now. So, again, we're going to take calls. And I did pin in the chat the phone number to call in. I'm going to filibuster a little bit and just talk about a few things to think about with Trump while we wait for those phone calls. But for all the people who come here and leave the comments that Trump is the savior, again, I'm hoping you can call in tonight, we can have a conversation, and you can stop believing not only in Trump, but in this two-party system, control us and keep us bickering. Again, the Republicans and the Democrats are controlled by the same forces, and it's all about the divide and conquer. But I want to start right here with a commercial I've shown many a times. This commercial is from years before Trump won, and I say won with asterisks, just like how Biden won the latest election. Again, these guys are not winning. They are chosen and they are selected, not elected. It goes for Trump in 2016. It goes for Biden in 2020. I did explain in February of 2016 why Trump would be chosen as the Republican candidate and why he would win the election. I did change my mind months later. It seemed too ridiculous at one point. I thought maybe they might actually put Hillary in there. But I also explained a long time in advance why Biden would win in 2020, and I never came off that. Anyhow, let's go back and watch this commercial. This is Donald Trump advertising for Serta mattresses, and I want you to pay attention to what numbers are shown on the screen, because again, it's all about numbers. DC is known as the Masonic City, and etched on their temple is all is number. And every single day, the federal government is performing rituals that involve numbers, and a lot of times these rituals are predictive programming for who the next rigged candidate is. For example, it's not an accident that Joe Biden became number 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, when the only other Catholic president, JFK, was assassinated at age 46. There's meaning to these numbers, just like why Trump announced from the 58-story Trump Tower that he was running for the 58th presidential election, and then made waves when he got rid of the leader of the inauguration ceremony in favor of the 58-year-old Steve Ray. But anyhow, let's go back to this commercial from years before he was elected in 2016, really selected, and pay attention. Again, we're going to get the idea in our minds about numbers and rituals and rigged elections and who's doing this and what cabal both Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and the rest of them are a part of. So watch.
So what do you think of my Trump home mattress collection by Serta? Finally, the same luxury and comfort I demand in my hotels.
Oh, they'll never count sheep again.
Listen, why don't you come work for me?
What do you have in mind?
Something you were born to do.
Welcome to room 9.
Looking good, number 9, looking good.
Where's your dignity?
Okay, weird commercial, right? But look at the sheep on pillars in the hallway. 11 and 9. And, you know, in a way it reminds of 9/11, and Donald Trump's a part of that day in history because he came out and he said some things raising some eyebrows about, you know, the events of that day. But also 11/9. Where did that fit in with his election? Again, they waited until the early hours of November 9th, 11/9, to call the election for Donald Trump. And what a day to call it for him. I mean, Trump's main thing that he ran on was building a wall. Where does 11/9 fit in with walls? Of course, it fits in with The Berlin Wall. The Berlin Wall fell in history on November 9th. Who said tear down that wall? Ronald Reagan did. Trump ran on Make America Great Again, which was Ronald Reagan's campaign slogan. When you learn Gematria, it gets more interesting because Berlin Wall equals 45. Donald Trump becomes the 45th president-elect on November 9th, the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. And also in Gematria, if you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Berlin Wall equals 63, as does CERTA, which this ad is for. And 63 is interesting because 2016 is the 63rd triangular number. You might recall Muhammad Ali died on 6/3 in 2016, and the Prophet Muhammad, they say, died at age 63. From knowing this number code, I also predicted in 2014 why Muhammad Ali would die in 2016 at age 74. Whole nother story. But anyhow, this commercial is years before Trump ran for president. Think about it, counting sheep. They'll never count sheep again. Where's your dignity? Do you remember how Trump, just before the election, was on the bus with Billy Bush talking about how he likes to seduce women by taking them to the sofa store? He's the proud pussy grabber. I mean, really. 100 years ago, society wouldn't have tolerated this. They'd have been like, yeah, Trump! They would have been like, hell no, man. Guy bragged about grabbing women by the pussy. He didn't care if they were married. That guy is low class. That's a bad operator. But see, society's fallen. Now they don't care. Well, he's the much lesser of the other evil. I mean, the whole administration, right, the whole time. It doesn't matter who's in office. It's always one scandal after the next. It was all about Donald Trump and what really happened with the porn star Stormy Daniels. But again, this is what you call predictive programming. And the other thing is, if you go back to 2016, he was wearing the exact same suit and tie the night of the rigged selection as he's wearing in this commercial. Wearing red for the Republican Party. Also, that last line, looking good, number 9, looking good. Where does 9 fit in with 45? If you add the numbers 1 through 9 together, it adds up to 45. 45 is the 9th triangular number. Okay? So, again, predictive programming. Other things about Donald Trump. Again, he's a Jesuit. He went to Fordham. Remember his brother, Robert Trump? Death date of Robert Trump. Let's go back and revisit this one. He died August 15th, 2020. What is it about the date August 15th? That is the day in history the Jesuit order was born. August 15th in Paris, France. In Gematria, Jesuit order equals 144. Where was Trump on May 24th, 2017, the 144th day of the year? He was at the Vatican posing with Pope Francis, the first Jesuit pope, on the 144th day of the year. Remember, Jesuit Georgetown on June 12, 2020 had the Transition Integrity Project simulating the election, saying that Biden would narrowly win, Trump would refuse to step down, saying he was cheated, which would lead to deadly violence in America. That simulation was exactly 144 days before the election, and not only does Jesuit order equal 144, so does President Biden. And again, this year, the most blatant of rituals. If you were not aware of the Ignatian year, it was a Jesuit thing. It began May 20th, 2021, and it went through July 31st, 2022. So it went more than an entire calendar year. It began on the day in history that Ignatius of Loyola was shot with a cannonball on the 500-year anniversary of that, and it went through the anniversary of Ignatius of Loyola dying. And recall July 14th of last year, 2022, was the day that the news began with Trump hinting that he would run in the 60th presidential election. Then we got the story of the 72-page conservative report against Trump based on 60 cases. And then we got the news of the death of his ex-wife, dying 45 years after their marriage in 1977. And RIP to Diamond and Silk, who turned 45 back in November of 2016, the same month he became the 45th president-elect, only to die this year, 45 days after her birthday, and exactly 666 days before the 60th U.S. presidential election. But again, let me put this in here for you. May 20th, 2021 was the day the Jesuit Ignatian year began, And July 14th was the day of the 3 Trump stories, including the death of his wife. And notice, from the start of the Ignatian year to July 14th was exactly 60 weeks later. So Trump hinted that day that he would run for the 60th U.S. presidential election. Again, the 72-page report by conservatives based on 60 cases came out against him that day. And by the way, the word conservative equals 72 like Jesuit order, whereas Donald Trump equals 60. And then again, his wife dies by falling down the stairs. And in Gematria, Donald Trump equals 60. And then his wife would be buried 6 days later on the 201st day of the year, kind of like how when they were married in a church that has Gematria of 201, and the leader of the ceremony, his name equaled 201. And then Donald Trump Jr. was born on Trump's 201st day of his age because it's ritual birthing. Again, C-sections. Again, ritual birthing's an old thing. If you're new here, the Jesuits are all about 201. The first Jesuit pope's the first to live in Suite 201. That's Pope Francis, who he posed with at the Vatican. His birth name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio's 201, like Ignatius Loyola's 201, the founder of the Jesuits. Just like Leo Jeremiah O'Donovan's 201, who's the Jesuit priest who's the old head of Georgetown, who did the funeral for Beau Biden, who died at age 46, 201 days before the Pope's birthday. And then did the inauguration for Joe Biden on January 20th, which is 20/1, like 201, like how they've done a gazillion Clintons are. And remember, Donald Trump used to speak real highly of the Clintons. Donald Trump was a lifelong Democrat until Obama became president. Then he became a Republican. And then he went from talking so good about Hillary to lock her up, because this is all part of the show. These are the rich fat cats ruling over the masses and playing their part in the political theater to keep us fighting amongst ourselves and not seeing what's going on in the nation. And again, I want to make the most important point about Donald Trump, because his supporters are coming to my page every day under the total mind control that they're under and regurgitating the most fictitious stuff you could ever say. Again, I want to write out these words: Society of Jesus, 56. Washington, D.C., 56. COVID vaccine. Remember, Trump's the father of the vaccine, 56. Coronavirus, 56. Anthony Fauci, who's a Jesuit like Trump and Biden, 56, right? Again, Donald Trump waited till Friday the 13th, a day in history associated with the Knights Templar, and the Templar crosses and the Jesuit order's logo, because they're both military orders of the Catholic Church. Like Operation Warp Speed was a military agenda to rush out the jam. But again, he waited till Friday, March 13th, 2020, did Trump, to declare the coronavirus pandemic. Again, all these words are 56. 2020 was 56 years after Trump's Jesuit education at Fordham began in 1964. Who was the governor of New York at the time? Cuomo, the 56th governor of New York who went to Fordham like Trump. Who was the governor in California? Gavin Newsom. If you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Gavin Newsom equals 56, like Nancy Pelosi, who's also from California in the Bay Area, Jesuit stronghold, but Gavin Newsom, 56, who said 56% of California will get coronavirus in 8 weeks, which is 56 days. Again, 1,056,000 rituals ran on the people of the world all across the world. Boris Johnson introduced the UK strain, 56% more infectious, and whose logo is above the door at 10 Downing Street? The Jesuit order's logo is stained in the glass above 10 Downing Street. Trump and Boris Johnson, both from New York, kind of with the messy blonde hair, divisive candidates, supposed conservatives. The number people is what you can call them. They operate by a code every single day. This is how you can identify them. Biden is in the same club. He sacrificed his wife and daughter back in 72. Notice, President Biden, his name does equal 144 when you don't use numerology, but 72 when you do. Jesuit order is also 72, so is President Trump. They're both 72. But Biden became senator-elect in 72, and then his wife and daughter died in a big 201 Jesuit ritual on Limestone Road. Then when Biden was 72 years old, His son, Beau Biden, died at age 46, again, 201 days from the Pope's birthday. This is how you can see they're all in the same club doing the same things. Just like how, again, Trump's wife was buried on July 20th, the 201st day of the year. All of you who come here and say, again, that Trump was fighting the New World Order, you have to snap out of it. You are under some kind of severe mind control. There's no way you could be in your right mind and say that Trump fought the New World Order. In the time of the Trump presidency, the country was under total fascism. The biggest, most obvious, transparent Jesuit agenda there ever was. We lost more rights and liberties than we ever had. Curfews, lockdowns, mandates, the shutting down of not only businesses and schools, but churches, the allowing of Walmart and Amazon to take over the world. Not to mention Jeff Bezos was 56 years old at the time. Not to mention they put up headlines about how 56 new billionaires were born in America because of COVID, a story that Forbes ran with. Again, these people are in the club. I don't know how anyone in their right mind could say Trump fought the New World Order. He ushered it in by the numbers, going along every step of the way. Just like how Diamond of Diamond and Silk just died 666 days before the pandemic, or before the next election. It's just like how Clade X, the first pandemic simulation, was exactly 666 days before the World Health Organization declared it. And then on the 2-year anniversary of Clade X, Trump declared Operation Warp Speed, May 15th, 2020. 15/5 like 155. If you don't use numerology, coronavirus is 155. From the day he got in office through COVID until the day he left, it was one ritual after the next. The whole Mar-a-Lago raid's another psyop, and now they just use the same numbers they used on that psyop are now the numbers that are involved in the Biden document scandal. All of these things are rituals that point back to the same club. They're about keeping people fighting over which party's the best, which candidate's going to save us. It should be apparent to every American who's not under mind control that our federal government's never going to help us out. They're going to continue to lie to us. They're going to continue to false flag us. They're going to continue to use the methods of order out of chaos. They're going to continue to manipulate our minds so that the rich fat cats they are and the people who control them stay in power while we lose more and more of our rights and liberties. And to think some guy like Donald Trump is your hero and savior, it's time to snap out of it. So with that said, let's see if we have some callers out there. Again, if you want to phone in, the number is pinned at the top of the chat. And you know what else? I'll get it up here on the screen in a second way so that you can also see it. Okay, up where my little camera is. Now you got the number. That is the number to call in. And I just really want to hear the arguments of the people who continue to come here and say, no, you got it wrong. Trump's a good guy. He's fighting the New World Order. Again, I want you guys, maybe if you just say it out loud and talk to me, maybe I can help you see that you're regurgitating nothing but nonsense that's based in false rhetoric that doesn't hold up to reality. So, let's take the... hold on. 816 call back, because I gotta do one more call setting, my bad. If I answer it, it's going to give a glitch. Hold on. 816, do call back. Apologies, I got to do one more thing. Okay, now the line is open for real. Now you guys can call in. 816 was first, but I couldn't quite answer it because it would have sent them to voicemail because I forgot to do something. But we are good to go. And 816 is back on it. All right, 816, you're on.
Yo, so I got a couple reasons why Trump is good.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, go.
So I'm a black man, so I feel like he done more for us than Biden has.
Hold on. Let's just stop right there. Do you think comparing, one Jesuit scumbag to another Jesuit scumbag is a reason to support one or the other?
No, but just hear me out, and he don't. Like, he was really trying to take down the elites and expose who is really real. No other president has done that since he's been in office.
He exposed what?
He exposed, like, the higher-ups, like the people, like the elites and stuff.
And how did he do that?
Because he was saying, like, the shit that they was doing. That's why, because he do got control of people and shit, but...
Who did he expose?
The billionaires like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, etc.
So he exposed other Jesuit puppets?
How is Trump a Jesuit puppet? I don't understand.
Are you watching what I just presented?
Yeah, I'm watching your stream right now, but I don't understand how is he a Jesuit puppet. I mean, that's a little bit of convinced about him. Like, could you enlighten me more?
So like, what didn't you get about what I just explained about how they all operate by this code and they all pay tribute to this number 201, like the ritual sacrifice of his wife synced up with the Jesuit Ignatian year, and then the burial of her on the 201st day of the year, him being at the Vatican posing with the first Jesuit pope by the numbers on the most perfect Jesuit day, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, what aren't we grasping here?
He was just a good president. I mean, he could just be there paying homage to him, though, too. But I don't think
he was a good president. So a good president that helped, rush out a vaccine that took a lot of lives, that put a lot of people out of work, that shut down a lot of people's businesses. That was a good president.
I mean, but you gotta look at the other stuff he did. But like even with the text that he put out though for motherfuckers staying at home,
Huh?
he gave them that stimulus by each kid that they had in their home.
So the stimulus that helped, the stimulus that has caused the inflation in the country was good, right? By shutting down the country and then the mass printing of money that's caused the inflation, that was good. The no-caller ID troll is calling in, and then he tricked me right there because he hung up just in time, so I accidentally hung up on that guy. But you know what? That caller was really drunk in the Kool-Aid. And anyway, 740.
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, this is Mooch, man, 25. I'm actually, I hate Trump, but what I wanted to get in, that caller, that Uncle Tom, anyway, I'm really pissed off with decoding with Cody, man, because he seems like he likes Trump, and I be listening to him, and they be putting in stuff, comments about loving Trump, and he be loving it, and I don't understand that.
Well, here's all I'm going to say about that guy. I think he makes Gematria look bad. He's putting out a lot of false predictions. His stuff's kind of goofy. I mean, I'm not a fan of that guy, to be perfectly honest.
And he likes that clown that likes Elvis. He promotes that clown, that dude that loves Elvis and Trump. Be putting out videos. That dude's a clown, man. But anyway, keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Okay. Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, bro.
For the troll who's trying to disrupt the stream, here, let's just answer. Maybe he wants to say something. No, he hung up right away. Yeah, the troll's being annoying again, whoever the troll is that's paid to just call with no caller ID 24/7. No caller ID, what do you want to say? What do you want to say, no caller ID? No caller ID? We got two no caller IDs calling in.
What's up with this Gematria stuff? Is it real?
Obviously, it's real, isn't it?
I don't know. You tell me. So what do they do? Do they just, line all these events up? What's the point?
Kabbalah.
Is it fake? Is it fake? Is it real? What's really going on? Are these people really getting killed? Are people getting sacrificed? What's going on? What's really the point?
Seems like they're obviously getting sacrificed. We just had somebody call in yesterday that's a family member of a former basketball player who died by the code. Catholic high school out of Philly.
Okay, but what is the point of all this? Like, what is their accomplishment?
For people who don't know, here, I'll answer your question. For people who don't know, stop talking. Stop talking if you have a question. If you ask a question, you need to shut the fuck up so I can answer, right? Okay.
Well, speed up, talk faster, think faster.
Listen look at this fucking idiots. Troll, right? Okay.
Answer the question.
Shut the fuck up, sorry ass motherfucker. It gets so annoying, these trolls, you guys, just calling over and over on no caller ID and then just dumb fucking trolls call in. Again, for people who don't know, Trump does have a Kabbalah plaque on his wall. Trump has a Kabbalah plaque on his wall. All of this is Kabbalah. Kabbalah says God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. So these people play God every day over humanity by the Kabbalistic code. And again, you know, there's people who don't want me exposing this. That's why there's a troll calling in 24/7 with no caller ID to try to break up every call. Troll? Troll. It's like you got Google censoring you, you got Google deleting your channel, you got trolls harassing you and make videos about you 24/7, 365. Anytime you try to do a live stream, the trolls are trying to break up the call. The only person who can get through right now is no caller ID, so we can't have a successful stream. I mean, it's so annoying, you guys. Yeah, I guess maybe I should have done it on StreamYard so I could drop a link to have people come in, because the calls, it's more than one person calling from no caller ID too. Yeah, don't answer the no caller ID. The problem is they're clogging up the whole line so nobody else can get through. Again, other people are probably trying to call in, but the phone's just this nonstop. No caller ID. Troll form not working OT tonight, you guys. Working OT every single day. 24/7, 365 troll harassment for going on 7+ years now. That's why, for all of you guys out there who think I'm wrong about Trump, if I was wrong, this wouldn't be going on. You know, there wouldn't be paid for agents trying to bust up the stream, exposing everybody's delusional candidate. 323? 323. Okay, 323, not saying anything. No caller ID. 732.
Yo.
Okay, are we drinking the Trump Kool-Aid or what?
Oh yeah, I'm not a troll or anything. I was just wondering, have you ever researched looking into getting your own call board somehow for like your own thing that TFR does?
Yeah, I need to figure out how to do that, because that would be a way to circumvent this. So.
Yep, just that little suggestion. And what's the next big Trump date, you think? Have you been looking ahead at the calendar?
Well, let's see what he does tomorrow. He's in the 201 Club. It is January 20th. Do we get his first tweet tomorrow? So.
All right, yeah.
Tomorrow will be 220 days after Donald Trump's birthday, and if I'm not mistaken, his full name, Donald John Trump. Let me see if I'm right about this. I think his full name's 220. Yeah, Donald John Trump, 220. Tomorrow will be 220 days after his birthday. So we'll see. We'll see if we hear from Trump on 20/1, which of course is Inauguration Day, and it very well. Again, there's a high chance, you guys, that Trump does come back as the next president. Again, Donald Trump alone, 60 for the 60th election. Again, Donald Trump's also 48 like Cleveland. A lot of parallels with Trump and Cleveland. Cleveland's the only president to have a split term. And again, Trump's 2016 convention was in Cleveland. So, all right, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Well,
take care. What's up, Jeff?
what you doing, my man?
I know you're not drinking the Trump Kool-Aid. What's on your mind?
You know, I think these trolls are they're requesting a nice rant this evening. Hold on, I got your thing playing in my headphones. I got one headphone on, one off, playing guitar. Getting ready for this tour, my man. I like the idea. I heard you earlier saying you were going to fly out to a gig.
Yeah, I think I should do that. Pound some payment in a town, and then...
We need bodyguards at these gigs, man. Truth seekers, come out. We need the Truth Seeker Legion.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Buffalo one's on March 1st. I'm eyeballing that one.
No Kool-Aid on the tour.
Yeah.
I can be drinking the Kool-Aid on the tour, that's for sure.
Okay.
Or any open containers or meals.
Yeah.
Have been left unattended. But what city were you thinking of?
Well, I was thinking possibly the Buffalo one. Possibly Buffalo. I think it's March 1st. So.
That would be cool. It's a good day. 31.
Or is there one show you think would be better than another?
I don't know, dude. They'll all be killer.
Okay.
Atlanta, that's the last show of the tour.
Yeah, maybe that's the one, actually. Yeah, I need to get down to Atlanta anyway.
That's the 33rd parallel down there.
74th day of the year.
Georgia Guidestones.
Yeah.
Easy place.
Yeah.
I need some backup.
Okay. Okay, maybe that's the one. So.
Well, look at the tour dates, people. Kings@thrash.com. We just put out a new live video commercial spot today. You can see her shred a little with all the tour dates on our YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get up over 1,000 subscribers on our new YouTube page, people. Come on now. But I'll let you get back to it.
All right. Appreciate it, Jeff. Thanks, man.
Enjoy the rest of the Troll Fest 2023.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, they're doing a good job of ruining the stream. All right, appreciate it.
Iron shot.
Yeah, I can't get the troll to stop calling, but isn't it just amazing, like, how dedicated the trolls are? Again, I would love to see the budget that's been spent it's more than 7 years now. I mean, it's every day since 2015 just being trolled 24/7, 365 with constant harassment, all hours, all holidays, nonstop. And again, I mean, it's just like, who else? I mean, it's insanity. All right, somebody got through well, and right as they pick up, they hang up. Okay, troll, no caller ID. 216, Cleveland.
Yo, Zach, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, man, I just caught you on a live stream, man. I want to, play devil's advocate for a little bit. By the way, this is a 13 moon goon. But check this out, though, Zach. Now, you're talking about Donald Trump, right? And where he actually sits in the whole realm of the Illuminati. Now, let me ask you this, Zach. Let's say if you were a Donald Trump light, right? Let's say if you were born into the club, and I mean, do you think it's possible? Let me ask you this: do you think it's possible for people who are born into the club, people who essentially have their life scripted out for them? We're talking about Donald Trump. Do you think it's possible for him to, turn against them? You know what I'm saying? Like, go against them and actually have some type of ulterior motive, whereas, a lot of people, they think, Trump, he's for the people, this and that. Honestly, I don't think that's the case. But do you think it's possible for someone who's born into the club, who has, especially as the president of the United States, to go against the script? Or do you think any other president or man in his position has ever went against the script? Let's say, for example, maybe JFK. Is that why he got his head blown off? Because he went against the script? You see what I'm saying? So
well, remember. Okay, here, let's go. Let's just put up on the screen again. JFK meets with the Pope on July 2nd, 7/2, and dies a span of 144 days later. Jesuit order 144/72. So, I mean, it looked pretty scripted, right? It's perfectly synced with the Pope, plus all the other layers on it. Dies in Dealey Plaza, named after the Mason. Dies on Interstate 35 as the nation's first Catholic president when Catholic's 35, and he's number 35, and his election was all about 35. And again, what was really taught to the nation from the JFK assassination? Pretty much, bow down, tuck your head, and don't go against the grain, or you might get your head knocked off next. And again, that very well could have been the operation. I mean, notice his family's not speaking up about anything. They continue to be in politics and operate in D.C. And again, you got now the leader of the anti-vaccine movement is also a Kennedy. And what day is he in D.C. leading the anti-vaccine rally? Of all days in the entire year, he chooses to do it on Georgetown's birthday. So again, controlled opposition is a real thing. You have to control the opposition. Again, all the evidence to me seems to point to everything is on script. We never saw Trump off script. Every last thing about the guy was on script. His news yesterday is on script. Tomorrow, don't be surprised if it's his first tweet by the numbers. So, no, I don't think Trump's going against rank. I think he's doing exactly what he's told as the divider-in-chief.
So he's doing exactly what he's told. Do you think that there has been, or not saying that Trump is the guy, but do you think there has been, a president that probably went off script? A lot of people try to bring up, Woodrow Wilson and how he died, and does he, the Federal Reserve and things like that. Because you check this out. Like now, let's say that these people get into power. Because let's say these people actually are born to do a certain job. We're on the outside looking in, so we don't necessarily know whether they know what their mission is. We don't necessarily know that. We don't necessarily know whether they know that, hey, you're going to die this specific day, or you're going to leave the public sphere on this particular day. You know what I mean? I would personally think that, they probably don't know. If these people are really, let's say if JFK was actually really assassinated, or Lincoln was actually really assassinated, these guys who, let's assume, were all a part of the club, did they actually know the day that they were going to expire? And if they would have known, would they have done things differently? You see what I'm saying, Zach?
Well, it's all speculation. But again, here's maybe a politician that went off script in history. James Traficant, he started speaking out a lot against Israel and how much money we send to Israel. And then what day does he end up dead? He ends up dead on the day the Jesuits are recognized by Rome, and he went out in a brutal way. They said, lawnmower went over him. So, that might be a guy that went off script.
Okay, well, let's take him, for example. He went off script, right? And he expired on the day he expired. I mean, do you think that once he went off the script and it was noticed that, hey, he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, and then the date that was set for his expiration was expedited? Not necessarily, let's say that they probably actually already had a certain day in history to expire him, but once he went off a script, they kind of sped the day up. You see what I'm saying, Zach?
Yeah, again, all of this, look, I mean, we're just doing a whole bunch of hypotheticals that take away from the point of what I'm making. Like, Trump has not been off script. Everyone's drinking the Trump Kool-Aid. That's what we're talking about. And as long as everyone's drinking the Trump Kool-Aid, we're not going to have the mass awakening that we need in this nation.
No, I agree 100%. And, I personally don't think that Donald Trump or any politician would do anything to really, change anything, really. But I have to say, though, that I think not just myself, but I think all the truth seekers, and maybe even yourself, maybe you can confirm this or not, that maybe there could possibly be one leader or one person that comes that ascends to the throne, right? And that, because just because the person that ascends to the throne, they go along with the, the different days and things that are aligned for them throughout, the calendar year, we don't necessarily know whether they're even aware of this. They could know, same time, same day, hey, this is what you're going to do for today. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is, do you think there's a possibility that there could arise, a political leader that's chosen by the the people in power, but that leader chooses to go against the grain and fight against the New World Order. I think that's what a lot of people kind of like hold on for Trump. You got to like put that narrative out there now. You and I, we both know that that's not necessarily the case, but I guess it's like that, that thing in the back of everybody's mind, like they just want someone to like come on and like go against.
Again, it's a pipe dream. Everybody should know it's never going to happen. It's not going to happen from within the Republican or Democratic Party, and look what they do to every third-party candidate that gets traction. When it comes time to vote, they give them fake numbers because they can never hit the tiny little threshold to get third-party funding. It's like in 2000, Ralph Nader was selling out every single sports stadium in the nation as he went city to city. He was the biggest buzz in 2000, a way bigger buzz than Bush, a way bigger buzz than Gore. He was the buzz. And then on election night, supposedly he couldn't even get 1% of the vote. Again, it's so fake. And that's why it's a joke that anybody thinks any of these candidates or any of these elections are legitimate or real. All of the numbers are fake. They're all ritualistic. They're never going to let anything change their two-party control system. And everyone's on a total pipe dream that thinks anyone who can get on that stage is ever going to do anything to go against the New World Order. The only way to be in that office is to be a part of the New World Order. And we know what the New World Order is. It's the Jesuits.
No, I agree 100%.
All right, appreciate it, man. I'm going to let somebody else in. All right, 323. What's up, 323?
Yo, okay. I believe this Gematria stuff goes along with the chronovisor that Father Pellegrini or quantum computers. This is ancient technology. So in some way, they're using this quantum technology along with this Gematria. It's like the code revealing itself, and it's like a matrix of quantum computing. So somehow the Jesuits tapped into this ancient technology. I think it also goes along with a dragon. They have all this dragon symbology, and back ancient times, dragons had figured out. I mean, it's crazy to think, but really reptilians and dragons had figured this stuff out a long, long time ago. So the Jesuits got in contact with these beings, and they were given access to this quantum technology. So somehow it's being revealed through Gematria. Have you ever looked into the chronovisor?
No.
Okay. That has to do with the Jesuits. So they've got this time travel, like they can peek into the past. So somehow they're using this quantum, it's crystal diamond quantum technology. It's ancient. They've had it. They're using it as a basis so they can see the past, but they use all of the patterns of the past to manipulate the future. And then their code is somehow being revealed through all these numbers and stuff. But it's I don't know, it's pretty crazy. I just can't figure out. I mean, I think, and this is going to be a little shocking, but it's like we're in hell, and this is like the hell code. And somehow, in order to get out of hell, we've got to scramble this program, because they've already set the whole. It is like a show being executed, and it's like a program, and they've already determined that it's going to be enslavement for everybody. But we gotta reveal that it's also Project Looking Glass. They can peek into the past, but by being able to peek into the past and looking at the past, they can look at all the patterns of everything and then manipulate you or manipulate anybody based on your past patterns.
Okay, all of this is speculation.
Yeah, so Project Looking Glass and chronovisor. This chronovisor is so heavily connected with all of this. I really believe that, and nobody believes that this stuff is real, but they really do have crystal ball, and even Da Vinci had put it in the most expensive painting in the world, Salvator Mundi. Okay? It has Jesus holding a crystal orb, And so this is ancient technology, and so it's existed ever since the beginning of time, but certain people were given access to it. If they sell their soul, if you sell your soul, you then get access, but then you're now in on the program. But once the program's up, you're dead. Like, you're over. So the name of the game is they lure people in and they say, look, we have this secret technology. We're manipulating everything. Sell us your soul and you'll be in on the club. We're the winning team. But really, at the end of the day, all those people that sold their soul for access to this advanced technology, they're not going to be able to, I don't know if you believe in reincarnation and all that, but that seems to be, it's like you sell your soul, you no longer get to reincarnate. And I know this all is very, very deep, but I mean, I don't know how else to make sense of all this, because what you're saying is true, you're pointing it out, but what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want, that's what I'm trying to figure out, because I know what you're saying is true, but what are they getting at? Are they trying to enslave us through all this? Is that what you think?
Obviously, they already have enslaved humanity. Again, I don't know why everyone asks the same question. I already answered it once in this stream. They use this code because it's Kabbalah and it's their belief system. Again, it's stated this is the way God operates, so if you want to play God over man by the code, this is how you operate.
I see. Okay. I mean, what I'm trying to get at is I don't like to just, because what you're saying is true, you tapped into it, but the thing is, I'm always about like, okay, so what do I do about it? Do I just keep watching everything go to shit? Or is there some way we can actually switch this on them? Do you think that there's a way we can switch all of this on them by having this knowledge?
Yeah, by stop playing their game and participating in their system and voting for their candidates and putting on our slave muzzles and becoming guinea pigs for Pfizer. Like I've always said, the solution is revolution. The system needs to be burned to the ground. The whole point of what I'm saying is stop participating in their system, and instead of lining up at the football stadium by the hundreds of thousands, let's line up together in D.C. and make it the last day of the federal government and rewrite history. That's the message every day. It's always been the message on this channel.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this. There's dragon symbology everywhere. The whole banking system was created by a dragon. They put the symbols everywhere. London, the Vatican has dragon symbols everywhere. So the Vatican Bank, the London Bank, all the banking system is the dragon beast system. And they somehow they got this dragon, this Satan, this being with the reptilians seems to have created this banking system, and it's going to use it to slowly condition us to just like conform to whatever their will is. But unless we create our own banking or somehow trade, because it's all about trading things, we have to organize and create our own alternative. But it doesn't seem like people are capable of really organizing that well. And we're still using their phones. We're still using their cell phone towers. We're using their internet. You know what I mean? It's like, even though they're the bad guy, they are building out their systems. So it's like kind of like a paradox here.
Well, we are using their system, but we can also use their system to take them down is the point. So
yeah. Well, I'm just going to say dragon symbology is and then diamond quantum technology. I'm somebody that's been heavily researched into diamonds. They're growing diamonds. They have the diamond technology. It's quantum. It has to do with time travel. It has to do with teleportation. It has to do with matter as information. And so we exist inside of this, almost like we are inside of a quantum computer. And maybe we do exist inside of a bubble that was created by some other being, and that eventually it's like the Truman Show. Everything's being watched by some outside being, and we are characters in a play. Every single person that comes here has like become a character inside of this play, and somehow this is the illusion, and we're trying to break out of it or something.
Okay, well, I appreciate all the thoughts. Again, it's interesting, but again, I think it's really a lot more simple than that. Again, instead of like all the, the fantastic and somewhat fantasy and sci-fi stuff, the reality is here we are, humans in the flesh, being controlled by technology and screens and being made to believe in false candidates that represent a ruling class, which we're not a part of, and that's what needs to be overthrown. So, anyhow, appreciate it, man. Thanks for the call, and have a good one. Okay. Yeah, again, you guys, I mean, all this stuff he's talking about is conspiracy theory, right? It's not to say it's not correct, but it's, it's like none of it can be proven. It's all speculation. Again, the reality is we are people. We're living, we're existing, and we're being ruled over, and it's going to continue to be that way as long as we allow ourselves to be ruled over. Who wants to wake up to what's going on? Here's the proof. It's really pretty simple. I don't know if it takes quantum computers. What they're doing is simple arithmetic each day and calculating dates and performing their rituals on each date in accordance to keep everybody in the programming. And you know what? No caller ID. Is there a reason that you want to prevent the Trump supporters from calling in tonight? Okay, we got 2 no caller IDs competing, calling in back and forth at the same time. What is it, no caller ID?
Is it Hubbard? Yeah. Hey, you need to join the Red Wave.
What?
You need to join the Red Wave.
The Red Wave.
Yeah. I mean, your community's not going anywhere unless you join the Red Wave. There's millions of us compared to how many of you guys?
So, what's the Red Wave represent these days? Mass vaccinations, lockdowns?
Freedom of speech.
So there was never more censorship than in the time of Trump's presidency.
Trump gave you the right, and he gave you the self-esteem.
My channel wasn't deleted until Trump became president. My channel never got deleted in the time of Obama. My channel was never deleted until Trump became president.
Say what?
My YouTube channel was deleted when Trump was president. It never got deleted while Obama was in office.
Okay, but all that is fine and dandy, but how are you going to compete unless you don't join the Red Wave? There's millions of us. We're everywhere.
But what do you guys stand for? Censorship, vaccinations, lockdowns?
You know? I mean, we'll destroy your community by the numbers, man. It's not enough for you guys. You can't compete with the Red Wave. We'll take you up by the numbers.
So that's why you're calling in from no caller ID over and over, representing harassment, censorship, and then you're saying join the Red Wave.
Hey, buddy, I'll make it. Listen. Hello?
Here comes another no caller ID. No caller ID. But yeah, that is true, you guys. My channel never got deleted until 2017, which was when Trump was in office. And then funny enough, it got deleted on Elon Musk's birthday, June 28th, who's now Mr. Censorship on Twitter. And again, don't forget when Trump became president, Amazon said 1984 was the #1 selling book in the country. And what's 1984 really about? It's mostly about censorship and being ruled over through screens. So... 956.
Yeah, that's me. Hi, Charles. Been watching your show for like the past 2 or 3 months.
Okay, so are you one of the Trump Kool-Aid drinkers?
No, I wanted to make a point that everything seems like, how do you say it? Like good versus evil, young versus old, black versus white, Republican versus Democrat. Seems like everything is set up that way. And a lot of what you're saying makes sense. Sorry, I'm a little nervous talking to you. But what I wanted to point out is that I really am starting to see the patterns and stuff that you're talking about with the numbers. And, yeah, just keep going with your work. I'm interested in learning more. But I was a Trump supporter, but I'm not anymore. I guess I can see the censorship, what you were talking about. I mean, I was under lockdown. I had grandparents died of being ill, and I was never able to see them. So a lot of my rights, I felt, got taken away under Trump, and it's kind of the same thing under Biden.
It is, because they're in the same club. They're in the same club. Again, these two parties, for you younger people, again, I just want to remind people about younger people. Again, if I was a young person right now in college, I'd probably be, cheering more for Republicans because they do look a lot better than the Democratic Party. But when I was a younger person, again, I was 18 years old when 9/11 happened, the Democrats seemed like the better party because they were the only ones questioning 9/11 and the events where we lied to. They were the only ones questioning the real intentions of the war. They were the ones that were seeming to speak up a little bit for the wrongdoing, whereas all the Republicans were kind of just marching in line. But now the time shifted. 20 years ago, the Republicans were leading the war and the building of the domestic surveillance state through the Patriot Act, and the only good guys in Congress seem like Democrats. These days, it's the exact opposite. It seems like the only good guys in Congress are Republicans, but you just see how as time goes on, how they just play their part, and they keep people shifting back and forth, trying to find hope in the two parties, but ultimately you see how it's one big game, and as time goes on, all that seems to be happening in this country is we are losing our rights and liberties. Things are getting worse. Again, for a young person like you, I don't know how young people are ever going to come up in the current U.S. Homes are so expensive. Everything's so expensive. How are you ever going to afford anything? How are you ever going to create I'm fortunate because I grew up at the tail end of a time where it was still affordable to buy a house. And being able to buy a house and have it rise in value is what changed my living circumstance and gave me the chance to have some freedom from the 9 to 5. I don't know if that opportunity is ever going to exist for your generation at the way things are going. So anyway, again, I've been trying to get people to wake up to this two-party delusion for a long time, and it's amazing to me how many people have fallen for the Trump thing. But I'm glad to see that you're starting to see through it. So thanks for calling in and speaking up.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Okay, no caller ID. No caller ID, just wants to hog up the line and then just sit there and say nothing. Okay. Okay, what do you know? No caller ID. See, they're getting smart though. Now they know to hang up because when they sit there on the line, it allows somebody else to call in so I can pick up. There we go. 252, you're on.
Yeah, Jack, I just wanted to share my opinions on it. I think it's just kind of, I don't know. I think it's kind of slow. It's kind of crazy to even give a react or even try to speculate about the people that believe in all the politics and stuff. Because when I swear to God, when I was like 5, 6, I'm seeing the election on the TV and shit. It just don't make sense. I feel like you don't really need a logical explanation to not trust the authorities. It just doesn't really make sense that out of billions of people, out of all the bad shit that's been going on in the past history that you learned about in school, whether it's fake or not, it just doesn't make sense to even. I feel like it should just be a no-brainer. I feel like you shouldn't. How when you talk to people about this, you got to kind of, you got to break through that convincing part of their brain first. I feel like it shouldn't even be that. It's so obvious that it's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, I agree with that, but here's the thing. The average Trump supporter sees that something's seriously wrong with the country. They don't think that the country is really being represented by people who care about America. They see that things are wrong, and they want solutions, but then they're putting their hope in this candidate, Trump, who's not what they think he is. And, you talk to Democrats, they don't see anything that's wrong, that they're totally asleep at the wheel. So they're not going to be the people that are going to help us. It's like these Trump supporters, they're on the right path, but then they're believing in the totally wrong person. And that's what's keeping them from hitting the mark. It's like we need to get these Trump people to wake up, Because they're the only ones that would ever show up right now at this point in D.C. and burn the city to the ground, which is something that seriously needs to happen. So, again, if we could get these millions of Trump supporters to snap out of the delusion of Trump and, you know, like I said, show up in D.C. Again, I mean, it could happen because, like I said, every weekend, millions of Americans are filing into football stadiums to watch the rigged game. And they're putting all this energy and emotion into the game. We need them to show up in the same kind of numbers and put their emotion into actually fighting for their rights and getting rid of this corrupt system that should have been overthrown decades ago, centuries ago, really. And again, I mean, that's the point I'm trying to make to these people. So.
Exactly. And I mean, I think we need to get over the delusion that I think trying to break through the wall of like, oh, the Trump supporters and stuff, it's so hard because people won't even get over the delusion that the people that rule over them would have fucked them over. It's hard to even, for them to even grasp the fact that the people in charge would have malicious intent. Like, it's actually so hard for about a good percentage of the population to believe that they would do anything wrong or bad. And they believe that whatever figure is getting the most attention as far as saying something controversial, whether it be good or bad, they're speaking out. They're going against this. They're going against that. When it's so retarded, damn near. It's stupid. Like, I don't get that shit.
Yeah. I hear your point.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I really don't care about if they believe in politics or not. But it's like what you teaching, like the whole Gematria and ritual sacrifice and all. I don't understand how people don't believe. Because I try to tell a bunch of people this, and they like really think like this shit is so far fetched. Like it's so hard to grasp. Like it's just so. And they always ask the same question: why? Like what's the point? Like why? It shouldn't even matter why. Like this is it's stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's all I wanted to say.
All right. Well, I appreciate the call. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Take care. Okay. No caller ID. You're very busy tonight. Oh, they got to hang up again. All right. Finally, somebody beat the troll. 612. 612. 612, you got to mute the video and just talk through the phone.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, hey, it's Jago's brother.
Okay.
Yeah, what's up?
What's up?
Yeah, so I was watching your show. I mean, I've been watching you for like a long time now, and so I see your whole thing about Trump and everything, and you know, I really feel you on this because I don't really see why people think of him as like the real leader and stuff. Because I mean, first of all, if you just look at Trump.
Fuck. Sorry, the troll got me. Goddamn troll, man. See, the trolls are getting tricky. They're calling and hanging up right away because I'm trying to silence them. And I cut off
Your call has been.
I'll try to get him back on the line here. I'm trying to call him back.
Hello?
It's me, it's Zach. Sorry, the troll tricked me and accidentally hung up on you. Okay, go ahead.
My fucking troll, all right. Okay. Yeah. Well, anyway, all right. So I was basically saying what I don't understand when people who really see Trump as like their savior in this whole political thing because I mean he's like the supposed millionaire guy. And like I mean, since when has a millionaire ever cared about the common person or just society in general? They only care about their pocketbooks and their bank accounts and like themselves. Like they've never been like outward carrying people to like the whole society. So I don't see why Donald Trump would be any different from the rest of the millionaires or billionaires out there. And then also, I mean, and just if you look at his demeanor, like he just comes across as a very insincere person. Like if you see how he acts and stuff, and just how he looks at things, that can't really be a sincere guy, right? And you also watch South Park, right?
Not really.
Oh, okay. Because I don't know if you've seen the episode, but it's like actually one of my favorite episodes ever. But it's an episode where like it was like it was like back during like when Obama was president, and they had they were making fun of like the debates, and so like Obama and Hillary Clinton were having a debate, and then like they finish the debate and they get off the stage, and then they both go backstage, and then they both just look at each other, and then they both just start laughing and just like shooting the shit and like just kind of like mocking like the whole debate and like what went on. And then like the episodes, because like it kind of played like an Ocean's 11 thing where they're like Obama and Hillary Clinton and them were like trying to pull this master heist. But yeah, like it basically showed both sides working together, like working together to achieve a goal of stealing something really big, which I'm sure is in this case like stealing America from, or like stealing our rights and liberties. If you haven't seen the episode, you should really watch it. I can't remember the name of the episode, but if you just search like Obama, Hillary Clinton, South Park heist episode, you probably get a kick out of it. Okay,
well, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah. There is some other things I want to say, but I don't really have them prepared right now. And this is like a Donald Trump stream, and so I know you want to keep it on topic, so I'll probably call you back when you're live next. But yeah, just these Trump supporters, guys, you all have to just really see through the delusion. I mean, okay, guys, I don't blame you. Like, Donald Trump is pretty hilarious. I mean, I see why people like him. I mean, that dude is. You can't deny. Like, Donald Trump is pretty funny, and that's why. And he comes across to people, I guess, and they like how, I guess, unhinged and unscripted. I'm saying unscripted with quotes. Like, I mean, he's unscripted, but he's still scripted, and just kind of, like brash he is, because like most presidents weren't like that, and so people were like, oh wow, he's different. Like, he's actually saying what we're thinking. They gravitate to him. So I understand why they're like. You said that he's a big mousetrap. That personality of his, that brash personality, is that big cheese and that mousetrap, and they're falling for it. But you gotta understand, people, that cheese may look good, but when you like look at the cost, like you might get that good cheese, but you want to get snapped by the mousetrap and just basically get fucked over because of something that looks enticing to you. Like, no. So y'all gotta break out of that.
Indeed. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you calling in, and we might not have Chigozi anymore, but at least we still got his brother. That's good.
Okay. All right.
All right. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Yeah, take care.
All right, see you.
Okay, no caller ID. Lots of calls, but not a lot to say. Oh, hung up again. So... All right, no caller ID. How much are we getting paid to troll tonight? Already hung up. 740.
Hey, Zach, what's up?
What's going on?
Hey, how's it going, man? Hey, I called in about 2 weeks ago. I was talking to you about the Steelers game and the 13 and all that. I truly believe all the Gematria stuff, and I'm not a troll. No, I'm not. I hate those assholes. I was going to ask, do you know anything about this with the Donald Trump, and they call it the QAnon, and of course there's a movement with the Sarah and all that. What the hell is this all about? Sorry the language, but...
Just to remind people, QAnon and Jewish Gematria equals 201, like the Jesuit order, like how they just buried his wife on the 201st day of the year. And
right.
QAnonymous, again, anonymous... has the Jesuit roots as well, and again, they're a hacker group, and it reminds me that Facebook, which is also part of this cabal, their address is at One Hacker Way, but and let's not forget that the anonymous Guy Fawkes mask became famous through the movie V for Vendetta, which pays tribute to November 5th, which is the big special Jesuit Day, the day in history that the Jesuit Guy Fawkes tried to blow up British Parliament on behalf of the Catholic Church. So, again, and it's just like, a lot of the QAnon rallies were Jesuit rituals out here in Washington State. They had it on April 19th, which is the anniversary of Ignatius of Loyola becoming the first superior general. And
also election in Concord for America, right?
Yeah. So...
That's what I'm saying. We were talking about the history of this country. We really don't even know what the real history is. The Jesuits have hidden this from everybody for all these centuries and all these years. Everybody's just blinded by the bullshit. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people? You know, there's something wrong. We all need to, you know, somebody needs to come to a happy medium here, but I don't think there is one. But you just got to keep getting this truth out. And a lot of people laugh at me about the Gematria thing, and I'm like, you guys are damn fools. This shit's proving itself day in and day out.
Yeah, every day we're proving our point. And again, it just goes back to that quote of you can't convince a believer of anything because their decisions aren't made on evidence. They're just based on what they need to believe in. I mean, we're proving our point every day here. I can't do a better job of proving how relevant the code is and what's going on day after day. It's just people don't want to open their eyes to it. So.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying about this thing. It's called Sarah or something like that. And it's supposed to be like some kind of like new currency coming through, and they're going to pay off everybody's debts. And Trump is connected to this. So I'm like, this is not fucking, this is not real. It cannot be real. There's no way. You know, this guy is controlled and he's trained by the Jesuits, Fordham and all that. So what is the big deal with all this?
What do you mean?
Like I said, there's this thing that's called Nasera Jasera, and I keep hearing a lot of people talk about. They keep talking about like this rainbow currency and different things like that. And this new currency coming in. It sounds similar to the Great Reset, but it's supposedly a different. And that's what I need to do investigating myself exactly what this is, because I keep hearing this from the Trump community.
Well, I'm going to have to do some research on that. You got me on that one. I haven't heard about it. Sarah Jasera?
Nasera Jasera. Nasera. Nasera Jasera. So I don't know what it is, and it's just kind of like, it baffles me every day, and I hear about it. I'm like, what the hell is everybody talking about?
Yeah, I do not know about it, so I'll have to look into it.
To look into it, you know, and see what it's all about. Supposedly it's the thing with Trump, and he signed the Insurrection Act and all that, and after January 6th, and of course we know what January 6th was anyway. That was a controlled opposition. That was a Jesuit show that day.
Exactly 201 days after the only Confederate statue fell, which fell in a big 201 ritual synced up with George Floyd, which was like the biggest 201 ritual ever. Yeah.
201 date, and nobody realizes it, and I'm like, oh my God. Because 16 is actually like that, because the month is 61 also. But, and of course, 6 and 1 is, well, of course, 7. Of course, they always, the magnificent 7, you know, and people just don't see through this stuff. And I'm like, why don't you see through it? Because it's crazy, you know, it's right before you, you know. It's just dumbfounded people. I don't know. I'll let you go. I'm not going to rant anymore, but you keep a good job. Keep your job up, Don.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care.
Yep.
Yeah, I wish I had some hackers on my side and people who could look up these trolls. I'd be out like the Predator collecting spinal columns. Okay. Anyhow, tomorrow is January 20th, you guys, 20/1, and unfortunately, we're not getting any of the Trump Kool-Aid callers really tonight. I don't know why everyone's always so busy in the comment section but can't call in. I just find it so weird. I always give people an opportunity to call in. I never get the calls I'm expecting. So, I mean, like, just to keep dialing over and over, I mean, God, these people are turds. Trolling must pay pretty well to just like do this every day. I mean, what a lame job. The troll's calling in, and every time I pick up, he hangs up just as fast and calls back. Okay. So. All right. Yeah, the troll's got the phone line on lockdown, and he's figured out how to be smart enough to hang up as soon as I pick up because, again. All right, guys. But yeah, again, I don't think we're ever going to win the battle online, you guys. The censorship and the trolls own the online, and the only way we're going to command the outside is with more resources. So, I'll look into if there's a way to set up a call board like I have on TFR. It's been a while since Chris Geo asked me to do multiple nights on TFR, but TFR has lost some of its hosts, and there's a lot of reruns now. I'm debating on starting to do a daily show on TFR just so we can have a call board each day. I mean, the only downside of TFR is we do have the little advertisement breaks, and again, I'd rather not have the advertisement breaks because it is eating up my time too, but that is the one way we could get access to a call board each day. 646.
Hey, Zach. I was just calling and, I know, these calls get really frustrated. They frustrate you a lot. But, maybe, just bro.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. You have a good night.
Yeah, have a good night.
Thank you. 951? 951. Yep. You're on.
Hey, Zach. Man, I'm super new, so if I ask a dumb question, I'm sorry. I'm trying to learn, but I'm glad I found you. So I'm at the stage where I'm really excited about learning this, and I'm believing it, obviously, but I want to tell other people, tell friends, but I'm not educated enough. So I don't know if you have something you can guide me, on your site or something small, some people, their eyes aren't open. So maybe that was one question. I had another question, but I don't know if you want to answer that first.
So you want to show your friends something small and on the subject of Trump or something else?
Oh, I'm sorry. Just Gematria.
Okay, well, tell me something your friends are into, because you always got to meet people where they're at. So what are your friends into?
I mean, sports. That's common, which is breaking my heart because I'm a big sports, but I'm losing that. But sports, for sure.
Okay, football, is that what they're into, or?
Football, yeah.
Okay. Here, since there's so many examples, but let's go back to a good one. Let's go back to the date, September 23rd. What year was it? Was it 2017? Donald Trump, NFL flag protesters. This was the day Trump took on the protesters of the flag. Trump calls for NFL owners to fire NFL players protesting during national anthem. And again, this is where people need to realize Trump's not some different person who's against the cabal. The reason he fit in with every single ritual going along with the rigged news stories that day, the rigged sports things, is because he was another chosen actor. Again, Donald Trump was elected. Okay, first of all, Trump's birthday is June 14th, which is the U.S. flag's birthday. The flag was born June 14th, 1777. Trump was elected while the flag was 239 years old. The first person to protest the flag was Colin Kaepernick on the 239th day of the year, and then Trump took on the flag protesters on 23/9. We said right after he did that, we said, there you go, that's the Super Bowl, you guys. The flag was sewn at 239 Arch Street in Philadelphia. 239 is the 52nd prime number. He did it the year of Super Bowl 52, and the Super Bowl ended up being Philadelphia defeating the Patriots with the flag on their helmet. Again, you learn this simple code and you just see how it's number rituals day after day. If you go back and look at the time he did that, there was a story about how Trump even weighed 239 pounds at the time, and all of these things were clues for what the rigged Super Bowl was to come. If you recall, when Trump first became president, the night before Trump became president, which was on this day in history, January 19th, 2017, that night, he was on TV talking for 20 minutes, his last official day as a citizen before becoming president of the United States, and he spent half of his time talking about the New England Patriots and how big of a fan he was of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. And I just thought, come on, man, half of his speech is about the Patriots and you're about to become the president of the country? Of course, this is a country that mostly cares about football. But then remember, the first Super Bowl when Trump was president was February 5th, 2005. It was the 97th NFL season, which is the 25th prime number. They moved the touchback to 25 yards that year. And then what happens on 2-5? Brady wins in a 25-point comeback over the Falcons. It was the only Super Bowl the Pope blessed. It was Super Bowl 51 on the Pope's 51st day of his age, but the 25-point comeback. Trump equals 25, Pope equals 25, Falcons equals 25, perfect ritual for 2-5. And right after Trump talked about how big of a Patriots fan he was and how he was cheering for the Patriots. And again, it's not just Trump. It's just like when Obama was in office. The Chicago Blackhawks couldn't stop winning the Stanley Cup. And, you know, Biden from Pennsylvania becomes president. Right away, the Phillies are in the World Series. Again, sports, politics, you learn this code. You see how it's all rigged. It's all synced up. And again, they got the perfect actors to play the part. That's why they're synced up with the rituals year after year. So that's what I can say.
Yeah. So, I mean, how far in advance in your, like, I don't know, I guess, is it an opinion is that they line things up? Is it year by year? Is it,
no. I think these people are born for the throne. Again, Trump was on Oprah in 1988 talking about maybe being the president one day. And again, 88's a big number with Trump. Trump in Gematria equals 88. When they had the Mar-a-Lago raid, it was on August 8th, 88. All throughout Trump's presidency, so many rituals with that number 88. It's not an accident that way back in 1988, he was talking about potentially being the president. Another word that equals 88 besides Trump is Elizabeth. And remember, when in 2016, when he had his GOP convention, he first came out to speak and he was made fun of because he came out to the song Queen, We Are the Champions, exactly 88 days after Queen Elizabeth's birthday. And again, the mainstream media will tell us how these presidents all have the same bloodlines that go back to British royalty. Again, these people are born for the throne. They're not like you and I. They're born into a club. It's that George Carlin joke. This nation's got owners. You know, we're not in the club. It's a big club, but we're not in it. Trump is. Joe Biden is. We're not.
Yeah. So the first live I saw you was the whole Damar Hamlin, which wasn't that long ago. That's how new I am. So, question about that. In your opinion, how is that set up? Do they go to Damar at the beginning of the season and they say this is going to happen? You know, all of his athletes. Do you think if I start paying attention now, I can tell they're acting as far as like how they feel bad that he got hurt? Like, how is that set up?
Yeah, it probably happened at the beginning of the season because I'm going to remind people of this. Damar Hamlin changed his jersey number from 31 to 3 on September 5th, exactly 17 weeks before the Week 17 ritual. And that date, September 5th, can be written 5/9 like 59, the 17th prime number. Freemasonry equals 59. Mason equals 17. Modern Freemasonry created in 1717, and then this nation created 59 years later. Again, it was the Masonic Hiram Abiff kneeling ritual with only kneel standing number 33. But also September 5th, the day he changed his jerseys, the day leaving 117 days left in the year. Buffalo Bills equals 117. And then it happens on the 117th day of the NFL season. And again, the Tops Buffalo shooting was exactly 117 days before the season opener. He collapsed. The word collapse equals 83 like football. His birthday is the 83rd day of the year. And then a few days later, number 3 on Old Dominion, who has the same March 24th birthday, he's collapsing. And again, this is predictive programming. A bill collapses. And is it significant of what could be happening to our currency in the first quarter? I'm not sure it's going to be this year. It might be predictive programming for next year, because next year is an election year, and big things tend to happen in election years and also the first year of presidencies. So I think, hopefully, I mean, it could happen as soon as this year, but I think it's probably still a year away. But I wouldn't be surprised if in the first quarter of next year we don't have the great big collapse that seems like we're building up to, with all the financial instability and debt ceilings and people out of work and shaky stock market and rumors of world war and blah, 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 the next pandemic. So anyhow, again, what I'm trying to get people to understand is, yes, rituals are being performed. What's it take to get Damar Hamlin to collapse and play dead on the field? A little extra payola? Does he even need any extra payola? These guys are millionaires. These guys are paid millions of dollars to play a child's game that most men in the country would love to play. And again, there's a lot of great athletes who sometimes wonder why they didn't get the scholarship or why they didn't make it to the league, but their teammate did, because they know they're the better player. Again, it might be because they weren't born into the club, but say Damar Hamlin was. So.
Yeah. Out of all your your website, I've been to your website a couple times and your couple books. Where do you feel like I need to go to just kind of be a little more educated on this? Because I really am very interested in.
I would read the first 100 pages of my first book, Letters and Numbers. That's what I would do.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate your time, Josh.
Okay. Well, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the question.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Somebody's been trying to call in from close by, Moses Lake. Here, I'll call you back, Moses Lake. Moses Lake's out here in Washington. They're in the same area code as me. I used to be closer to them, though, when I was in old Yakima. Again, you guys can download my books for free at my website, GematriaEffect.news.
I'm sorry, but the person you're...
Well, I tried to call them back, but they didn't pick up. Okay. Well, somebody else gave a super chat. Let me say thank you. Oh, it's Nathan again. Hey, Nathan, stop with all the super chats, man. Nathan's already doing too much. 772.
Hey, Zach. So I have a relevant story for Trump. So when Trump was elected, I was 12 years old. And so I remember I had talked to this lady, and, she was so against Trump, and she was like, oh, we got to vote, and we got to get Trump out. And, I just thought, this was at the time, this was before I was here or anything, and I just thought, she was like, oh, well, whoever we vote is the lesser evil, and I just thought, well, in 4 years, they're just going to be replaced with 2 more evils, and it's it's not like you just choose the lesser evil. And I knew at the time that voting was rigged. I knew that all the elections were rigged, and I knew it from my own research. Nobody told me that this stuff was rigged. I was like, oh, well, the Electoral College chooses these people, and I thought, well, the media only gives you the small hand-picked candidates. You don't know who else is running for president. None of those people are shown on the media. So the only people that we can vote for president are presented to us, and I already knew that they were friends and whatever behind closed doors, and they all bring forth the same agendas, and I knew this about Trump, I knew this about Biden, Obama and Hillary and whatever, I knew that it was all worthless and that, voting doesn't do anything, and, I was only 12 at the time, and it's, and it's funny because, that lady, she was in her 60s. And, that lady's the type of person that's like, oh, well, you don't have any experience or whatever. Because, that's what I've noticed. The type of people that say that are always the people that are, the deepest in the game. They're the most indoctrinated, because, they can't have somebody younger who can see because they're blind, and that's really what I thought. I was like, oh, experience. So experience, I can be blind and dumb and taken by all the agendas like you, because that's who always talks about experience and stuff, and people like that. And I was only 12 at the time, and I could already see through it. Most people, they're adults and they can't.
Yeah, indeed. All right, hey, I appreciate that. I'm glad you're way ahead of the times. Moses Lake's trying to call back in. I got to talk to them since they're close by. Appreciate it. Thanks, Sebastian.
Bye.
All right, Moses Lake, somebody in the neighborhood. What's going on?
Hey, my wife and I have been watching you, and you talked about 201.
Yes.
We noticed that the apartment of Brian Kober is 201.
Yeah, exactly, and a big G on it too. The big G for Freemasonry, the 201, and again, where did they say they got him at? Scranton, Pennsylvania, Joe Biden's hometown, and Scranton, the home of The Office, the NBC show that ran 201 episodes, where in every episode you see the Jesuit prep school flag that's located in that town. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just new to this, so.
Remember, Joe Biden has so many parallels to JFK, and they said that those kids were killed in 1122. King Road was the address, kind of like the JFK date, 1122, and then King Road, and the news broke on King Charles's birthday. So.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah. They waited 47 days from the murder to arrest the killer. And do you remember the name of the police captain who's in charge of it? Is it James Fry?
Oh man, what is that?
It is James Fry. Yeah, James Fry. James Fry equals 47. So the guy in charge's name is 47, and he said it was his decision to wait until the certain day to arrest him, which was 47 days later. And again, it just reminds of the Fraternal Order of Police, which is Masonic, and the 47 degrees on the Masonic compass. Again, Jesuits and Masons. With regards to 201, since you brought it up, a city memorial on April 19th to raise awareness about that day, the massive 201 ritual on the anniversary of Ignatius of Loyola becoming the first superior general of the Jesuits. And what blew my mind from actually going there is on the back side of the memorial is the Masonic Temple. And if you read the history of the Masonic Temple there, it says it's sold for $201,000. So.
Oh, God.
Yeah, just Masons and Jesuits. And again, just like you said, his apartment number just happens to be the one with the 201 and the big G, so it's not hard to see.
And then you were talking about 81, and the guy David Crosby just died at 81.
Yeah, we talked about David Crosby in the stream I did earlier today. And
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. We talked about David Crosby. Neil Young joined his band in 69, and he's dead on the 69th day of Neil Young's age. I think that's what they did with that. So.
Man, so like the cops, are they actors? The James Fry guy?
Well, I don't think they're necessarily actors. I think that they're, kind of taking orders too and doing what they're told, and, maybe getting a little extra money and just going along, following rank. So, for people who missed it, do you remember, you're in Washington State, do you remember at the beginning of last year, it was February 7th, they said that there was a mass shooting at the Fred Meyer in Pasco, Washington? Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
So I went there and I did a live stream, and I was trying to get answers from cops. And if you go back and look at that news story from the New York Times to everyone else, the police officer who was in charge of the situation, his name was Commander Lee, and he's the one quoted in every paper. Commander Lee was telling the story of supposedly what happened. Well, I got Commander Lee on camera. You can still watch this video. It's up on BitChute. YouTube struck the video for medical misinformation, even though it had nothing to do with medicine. But Commander Lee admitted on camera, he said, "No, I have not seen the crime scene with my own eyes. I'm not allowed to go in the building. He's just following orders." So, and he told me the only people allowed to go in the Fred Meyer were the feds. So the feds were in charge of the scene. The city police were outside, but still it was Commander Lee who's in the paper and all the news stories. giving the story of what happened, even though he never got to see it with his own eyes because he was not allowed to go in the building. So.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, again, for everyone, my BitChute channel is the same name. I encourage everybody to go back and watch that video. It was uploaded in February of 2022, right after the shooting, February 7th. It's near the end of the video where I finally get Commander Leon, and he says, I know why you're out here doing this. It was kind of like he was hinting, like, yeah, you are on the right track of what's going on. And by the way, that was a big 201 ritual, too, because it was 201 days after the anniversary of the death of Mr. Kroger, who the stores are named after. So.
Oh, my gosh. That is insane.
It is.
Yeah, we've been picking up on your.
Go ahead.
Out some stuff, and there's no way you can deny it.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way. I wish more people were catching on.
It's insane to try and deny it. It's real.
Yeah, it is real. It is real. Well, but a lot of people will deny it. Like my sister's known about it the whole time, and my sister still thinks it's all a coincidence, every last thing. So some people are just in permanent denial.
Yeah, even one of my best friends who I thought conspiracy with all the time, he was kind of like,
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm glad people are listening in Moses Lake. So thanks for calling in, you and your wife, and I appreciate the support. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for answering.
Yeah. All right. You have a good night.
Have a good night.
Yeah. Take care. For people asking about Alec Baldwin, again, we've been covering that one since the news broke October 21st, 2021. Again, Alec Baldwin shoots the Ukrainian woman 201 days after his birthday, right before the Russia-Ukraine 201 fiasco. What's up, Jeff?
My man.
How you doing?
You still alive?
I'm still alive.
I couldn't hang anymore. I'm sitting here practicing, listening to the idiocracy abounding.
Sure.
I just had to call in and add a little color commentary. There was the one caller that was saying Trump's funny. Trump is funny. That he thought he was funny and entertaining. I know a lot of people think he's entertaining. I'd like to submit that those people have no moral fibers and ethics. You know, when someone goes on Howard Stern, which is a worldwide radio show, and puts his pedophilia out there, talking about what a great body his daughter has.
Exactly.
Like, how many fathers out there?
Exactly.
Shame on every single one of you motherfuckers that have children and support Trump. That piece of shit, diabolical, low-life, douchebag pedophile. Actor, agent, rolling around on the floor in the WWE, and you still can't see through it. Truly the dumbest among us.
I couldn't have said it any better, Jeff, and I have been making the same point the whole time. Yeah, exactly. For people, I mean, like, Trump has a hard-on for his daughter. How gross is that?
There's so many pictures when she was very young in limos and audiences where there are public events of her sitting appropriately on his lap and touching her inappropriately. You don't go on a fucking radio show and say, if she wasn't my daughter, I'd be dating her and banging her. And she's got a great body.
Right.
Insanity.
It is.
That was my 2 cents. You don't have to say much. That's all I have to say on that matter. It's just, I have a buddy in West Virginia. Of course, he's a hill jack. But he's like, he considers himself an educated man, but he's a fucking retard.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
He's been to the rallies. You know, he's posted video of him at the Trump rally. I can't even imagine theirs where they got to, like, just blow up a building right there.
Exactly. Where's a drone strike when you need one?
Where's the Ara Grande psyop action when you need it?
Exactly. Yeah. Hey, do you think I'm right? Do you think he's coming back as the second split term president? You know what I just noticed? Not only might he be number 48 if Kamala becomes number 47, but he would take office at age 78, and Cleveland equals 48 and 78. The second president with a split term. Cleveland's also 165, like how Trump's born on the 165th day of the year. So.
Yeah. What's the goofy Trump predictive programming character in Back to the Future?
Biff Tannen.
People look up to that. I mean, that's really it's the same personality profile, everything about that character in Back to the Future's blueprint of Trump, and people admire that. So you could imagine, if you're putting it in perspective, people who look up to that must be pretty darn low. Huh.
Well, that's apparent. I mean, what you're saying is...
For that, we got a word for that where I came from. It's called low-life white trash.
Yeah, exactly what you're saying is what I've been harping on about, because it's just gross, man. I mean, the guy, his daughter, and also, to me, it's low class for guys who go after married women. To me, that's a messed up thing too. It's like, that's not a leader. That's a skeezy person. So,
Plus, any women who can relate to the guy after the things that he's said about women and done to women. I mean, no self-respecting human could relate.
I agree.
So back to my guitar. I'll relax. It's a whole scene here when I'm watching your videos. I start out very relaxed, start tensing up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, I feel your pain, because the same thing's happening over here. I oftentimes think, is it just time to retire? Is it time to find the island? So, anyway.
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
Yeah.
Welcome to Costco.
Yeah. That's the idiocracy, people. That's the idiocracy line for people who don't know that. So.
Yeah, no. Well, America, people don't understand yet what's happening, because it's the parable of the frog. They taught us that at Wharton when I went to, when if you throw a frog in the boiling pot of water, he's going to jump out. But if you just put him in there, it's lukewarm, and just put on the burner and just crank that sucker up. He's, it's nice and warm in here. And he just boils to death, right? And that's what's happening. They do it so slow, and as we were talking about on the last show, the puzzle pieces, they're all falling so far apart for your average human caught in a rat race that there's no way they can put this shit together. I mean, we're sitting here looking at this every day, all day. You doing what you do, and meanwhile, I'm sitting here practicing watching you do what you do. And I've been seeing it since, when we say 2014, 15, we've known each other that long. So by now I've seen thousands of features, hundreds of thousands of case study. It's just stacking up, video after video. You're getting documentation like few researchers have ever gone this deep, I don't think, as you have. And then combine that with all the peripheral people doing positive stuff in the community.
Indeed. So, we have been thorough. Mm-hmm. We've been thorough. I've been relentless in trying to prove my point. That's why, I have been here every day. So, for people who've been here, you watch me get older and older in front of the camera day after day making my point. And again, I'm always wondering what might have happened if we never got censored, and if we might have had the impact that I've been aiming for. It's frustrating that the world's gotten so much uglier in the time we've been here documenting, figuring out what's going on, and still so many people don't want to see what we're laying down.
We've watched the time you started coming on my radio show. Think how much you've learned since that first show yourself.
A ton.
and what we've uncovered and how much the world has changed. And, you know, aside from the Prince thing that we called on my show, do you remember when we were just kind of spitballing, you know, and it was in one show, and I don't even know what triggered us to say it, but, and I mean, I've done so many shows, there's no way I could go back and find it in the archives unless someone hears it and sends it to me. But in one of the shows, we said, man, you know, we were talking about the scamdemic and saying we hope it doesn't happen in our lifetime.
Indeed, but it did. So,
yeah, I was hoping I was going to escape all this, and they got more coming down the pike.
Yeah, they do. It's going to get worse unless humanity stands up. So that's what remains to be seen. Are we going to change the course of history, or are we just going to get taken down the path that they've shown to us?
Meanwhile, 350-pound dude rolling down the aisle at Ralph's today in a mask.
Yeah, worried about his health.
Concerned about his health.
Yeah, worried about his health. He's all the way jabbed up and muzzled, healthy as can be. So.
There's a hilarious meme that I love to share.
Yeah.
It's like one of those memes where you don't even have to say anything. And then in the meme below, it's from that movie where the guy's holding the other guy's he's holding the other guy's eyes open to look at it. Like, look at it.
Right. Yeah. At least we can still laugh. So.
I want to send this. I'm so tempted to send this to my buddy, but he'll never speak to me again if I do.
Sure.
He's a beat on the junk Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
People like, I mean, how many Trump fools you think we got listening right now? And
I don't know.
How do they reconcile in their moral fabric?
Biden's an inappropriate toucher. That's what they'll say.
Anyone that relates to someone like him, you could only say that they're as vile as he is, because he's truly vile.
Right.
So you need to reconcile yourself that if you relate to that, you're a vile creature.
I agree. I think that is part of the problem. I think a lot of America is vile creatures.
Yeah, and not very intelligent to boot.
Yeah, I think that's the real problem.
I'll let someone call in, and I haven't heard the troll calling in, so.
His mom put him to bed.
Put him to bed.
Yeah, his mom put him to bed, obviously. So.
All right, dude. I'll talk to you more.
All right, later, Jeff.
All right, people. Good evening.
Yeah. All right, Jeff Young, you guys. Resident rock star. You know what? Here. I'm just going to go back and play February of 2016. Let's hear what I said one more time. February 2016.
Hey, Truth Seekers. Welcome back. Zach here. Today's February 24th, 2016. Next week will be Super Tuesday, the date where several states have their primaries. And after that, it becomes clear who the candidates will be for the Democratic and Republican parties for president. I suspect that after Super Tuesday, we will have our candidates. They will be Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Last year, summer and spring, I made several videos on the election showing what was going on and what was likely to come. Back then, I was leaning towards the fact that the next president would likely be Hillary Clinton, an assumption I held from 2008 after Obama was elected president. Hillary still could become president, but I'm trying to be unbiased, and I'm trying to figure out what makes the most sense in this crazy nation as the next president of the United States. And in brainstorming about that, that is the weirdest shit, Truth Seeker. The light just turned on in here, and there's no way for that light to come on without me hitting the switch. This house I live in, it's crazy. Read my blog. I've talked about how I live in a haunted house. Anyhow, maybe the ghost is telling me I needed more light in here. All right, back to the point. The next president for this nation and why Donald Trump might make the most sense. If you're not aware, the elections are rigged. Who's ever to be the next president is already chosen. So, what we should look at is the direction this nation's heading. Right now, in the time of the Obama presidency, the powers that be, the people who control our government, who rig the elections, who control the media, right now they are working overtime to divide us among race, religion, sex, sexuality, political party, etc. I don't know what's going on with the light truth seeker. It's weird. Never seen it do that before. Anyhow, with regards to the powers that be working to divide us, the candidate that makes the most sense to step into the White House is Donald Trump. Why? Because since he's been getting the mainstream coverage going back to May of 2015, all he's been doing is making divisive remarks against women, against Muslims, against Hispanics, against blacks. Do you remember how at a recent rally of his, there was a Black Lives Matter protester who showed up and was beaten, and Donald Trump made the remark that he deserved it? Just weeks before that, he threw out a Hispanic reporter from Telemundo making racist remarks against Mexicans. And this came on the backs of him accusing Mexicans of being responsible for all the raping in this nation. Do you recall those stories from last summer? Days after making those remarks, we got the story out of San Francisco where an illegal immigrant supposedly named Juan Francisco Lopez, or maybe it was Juan Francisco Sanchez Lopez, either way, some ridiculous sounding name. We got this story of him finding a federal agent's gun on the pier, picking it up and accidentally shooting a woman. All ridiculous propaganda, all part of the divisive narrative going on in this nation. And that example shows what puppets these people are. Donald Trump's just going out there and saying what his masters tell him to say. That's because the agenda right now is divide and conquer above all else. Donald Trump, again, attacking women, Muslims, Mexicans, blacks, and countless other groups. And worst of all, the media gives him a pass, but not only gives him a pass, also validates him. We get these people who show up on his behalf and speak for him and say how he's the voice of the people and he's saying things people have been wanting to say for years. This is unprecedented. You know, earlier this week, Ben Carson, who's also a Masonic stooge, a fraud, a phony, another puppet out there, he made the remarks that Obama is not really black because he grew up raised by white people in Hawaii, whereas he, Ben Carson, grew up in the hood around black people in Detroit. And anybody who's seen Ben Carson knows he's not very hood-like, and if, I'll just let it be. Whatever. The point is, Ben Carson is being put down by the media for those remarks, saying those are the signs that he's not presidential. And Ben Carson makes controversial remarks. The media says, see, that's proof he's not presidential. But meanwhile, Donald Trump has been very immature and got nothing but validation. And it's been going on since May of 2015. In fact, in my lifetime, I've never seen anybody get as much media attention as Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been front and center in the mainstream media on all networks since May of 2015. That is now going on 9 months. Every time a major story is broken, we've heard what Donald Trump has to say before the president, before any elected member of Congress, before any notable figure in society. It's been the Donald Trump show. Donald Trump has been shoved down our throats. And why? I mean, what is Donald Trump's background? Game show contestant? What else? What else is Donald Trump? You know, Donald Trump a few months back talked about how, you know, he's not much different than anybody else. His father gave him $1 million as a teenager. That's, you know, that's pretty ordinary. That's how he talked about it. This guy does not represent the American people. This is enough to supporting these people who don't give a fuck about him. There's no other way to put it. If you're out there and you support Donald Trump, you've been sucked into a trap. Donald Trump does not care about you. Donald Trump is an egomaniac, self-obsessed, from wealth, and if he does become the ex-president, just another stooge. And besides all those points, Truth Seeker, anytime Donald Trump's asked about what his plan is for America, he has no plan. The only plan that he has talked about is building a wall between the United States and Mexico. An idea from the Republicans and conservatives going back decades. He has no plan on anything. He just talks cheap. I'll make America great again. I'll make people want to invest here. How? He doesn't say how. He says, well, when I get to that point, I'll have my advisors and my committees and we'll figure it out. I mean, what is that, Truth Seeker? Donald Trump has shown that he's a shit talker with no plan. And I don't know how many people in this nation really support him, but I know people that do. You know, I've met a number of people who say they like him. And why do these people like him? Because we're a nation of people who like to be entertained, and Donald Trump's an entertainer, and these people are laughing while he's speaking and having a good time listening to him bash groups that they probably bash themselves. You know, that's what we really have been turned into, a nation of haters, people that love to divide and fight over nothing. And Donald Trump, he's just going to be the icing on the cake for this recipe that's been waged against us as a nation for decades. So, you know, no matter who the president is, the same things, whatever the plan is, it's going to be rolled out. But if it is Donald Trump, the reason he'll be the president is for what he does to us as a people, divides us further, makes us that much easier, much more easily conquered and ruled over. That's what it's all about. You know, keeping us, the masses, enslaved and all things wrong. And that's what Donald Trump stands for. All right, Truth Seekers, until next time.
Okay, so that was way back in February of 2016. And again, you know, things have never been more divisive. And just to remind people, again, Donald Trump, this is one of the first 3 degrees of Freemasonry. And again, he announced he was running from the 58-story Trump Tower for the 58th presidential election. Freemasonry has that Gematria 58, as does Secret Society, as does Solomon's Temple, where Freemasonry secrets are, as does Tracing Board, which is what you do to complete your first 3 degrees. Again, Hillary's book about why she lost. The election to Trump was called What Happened, which equals 58. You just had the death of Diamond by the numbers of Diamond and Silk, who were big Trump advocates for that 58th presidential election. And again, in the next election that he lost, that was the one where Joe Biden became the... And we just came in the time of the 118th Congress yesterday, January 18th. The White House press secretary accidentally called Kamala president, but was it really an accident, or was it a script and predictive programming for what's to come? Maybe we should close out right here. Let's pull up the Gerald Ford explaining how we'll get the first female president. Gerald Ford, first female president, speaking from the Herbert Hoover Library. Again, listen to what Gerald Ford says, and as you listen, again, remember he's in the Herbert Hoover Library. And just remember that Kamala Harris was born the same day that Herbert Hoover died. Check this out.
On October 18th, 1989, in West Branch, Iowa, Gerald Ford, the 38th President of the United States, shared history with students from across Iowa. The visit was part of a conference on the role of former presidents in American society, sponsored by the Herbert Hoover Library and Museum and the Gerald Ford Library and Museum. Here's how these students took advantage of a rare learning opportunity.
Thank you very, very much. It's a very high honor and a very great privilege for me to come to West Branch and to participate in this conference, which is being held here at the Hoover facilities.
Mr. Ford, what advice would you give a young lady wanting to become President of the United States?
Well, I hope we do have a young lady at some point become President of the United States. I can tell you how I think it will happen, because it won't happen in the normal course of events. Either the Republican or Democrat political party will nominate a man for president and a woman for vice president. And the woman and man will win. So you'll end up with a president, a male, and a vice president, a female. And in that term of office of the president will die. And the woman will become president under the law or constitution. And once that barrier is broken, from then on, men better be careful.
So again, Herbert Hoover Library, and just to show you, Herbert Hoover, he died October 20th, 1964, and Kamala Harris was born on that exact same day. October 20th, 1964, the year of the Civil Rights Act. Again, if Kamala does become number 47, it sets up the narrative for Trump to be number 48 at age 78, the man born on the 165th day of the year. And there's been a number of articles written comparing Donald Trump and Grover Cleveland, the only split-term president. Trump would become the second. And again, Donald Trump has Gematria 48 as well as 60, and the 60th presidential election will be the next one, which is why Trump's ex-wife died 60 weeks into the Jesuit Ignatian year the same day he said he would run for the 60th presidential election. So we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. And again, people need to wake up to the two-party deception. They need to get over this idea that it's okay to support the lesser of two evils. Like Jeff Young called in and said, I've been saying the same thing. I mean, like, should I play the commercial again at the beginning of CERTA? Where's your dignity? I mean, seriously, where's your dignity to support a man who's happy to brag about how much he'd like to bang his daughter and how proud he is to have had affairs with all the married women that he seduced by taking them to the sofa shop? I mean, that's a gross human being anymore. Okay, let me say thank you to the super chatters. You know, we'll close out one more time with the Trump CERTA commercial, the predictive programming for the rig selection of him back in 2016 on November 9th. One more time, here it is.
Why don't you come work for me?
What do you have in mind?
Something you were born to do.
Welcome to room 9.
Looking good, number 9, looking good.
Where's your dignity?
Save now on this Trump Home Luxury Suites mattress during the CERTA Luxury Suite Savings Event, now through Labor Day.
Okay, I see what you guys are saying. Yeah, I see that OBS, there's something going on with OBS. And maybe I guess gotta stop using OBS.
And the heat wave continues.
I might have to stop using OBS and just start streaming through StreamYard exclusively, because somehow OBS is cutting out my signal. It's more kind of interference and tampering. It's another form of censorship. There's nothing wrong with the internet connection. It's OBS. But, yeah, again, if you guys want to watch that commercial, I'll just put the link. Again, or just go to YouTube and just search Trump CERTA mattresses. It's the Counting Sheep Looking Good number 9 commercial. It'll pop right up. Again, Trump in the same suit and tie, sheep 11 and 9 in the background, just like how he was called 45th president-elect on 11/9, the anniversary of the fall of the wall. Yeah, it's true, Pale Horse Rider. It's true. The National Sunday Law, it's not something we have yet, but it is... Sorry, out of the window. I get a pack. There's a pack of cats that live in this neighborhood that all travel together. I don't know if they're stray cats or not, but I just like how they're always like a little pack of lions, except for their house cats. But anyway, the National Sunday Law is, something that we might have one day. Everything needs to be closed. Day of observance. In a way, it actually doesn't sound like too bad of a gig to me. I could almost go for it, just like a day where people aren't working and just... But it would be more symbolic of the Catholic control of the world if it ever comes. So